What's up guys, Paramoto here. How are you guys doing today? Today I am doing amazing and I hope you guys are too. Today guys, I want to talk about what I learned during my cross-country trip on my 2020 Harley Davidson Roadster. Let's get to it. Alright, let's see if she starts up again. Oh yeah. I'll be honest with you, I hadn't ridden this bike in about a month and the first startup was not all that enthusiastic. It still started up though. First try, no problems. Guys, back in September, if you guys follow this channel, you'll know that I did about a 1,200 mile, I think it ended up being 1,300 mile total road trip on this here 2020 Harley Davidson Roadster. First and foremost, for all the haters out there of Roadster, a Sportster platform motorcycle, man, I am not the first one to take this on a long road trip. I won't be the last. And these bikes can absolutely do it. All the haters need to shut up because this bike is more than capable of doing long miles. It just depends on how dedicated the rider is. So just to get out of the way guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. About 5% of the people that watch these videos are actually subscribers. So be part of the 5%, be part of the cool kids. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Throw me a comment as well about what you think about this video or the channel in general. I love interacting with you guys. So guys, like I said, these bikes can 100% do long, epic road trips. There's been people like Redbeard, the Kilted Rider, that's taken this 1200 Sportster across the country multiple times. No issues, no hassles, no problems. And like all these haters that think that you need like a giant BMW ADV bike or like a giant Harley Davidson, you know, you gotta break into that like $30,000 motorcycle range to go have a good touring bike. They're just wrong. They're just wrong. These bikes will do it just fine. People have been touring the country on Sportsters for forever. Since Sportsters were Sportsters, to be honest with you. You know, when people were coming back from the military and like taking their Harley Davidsons, chopping them up and riding them across the country, they were a lot less comfortable than this, I'll tell you that much. All the haters be damned. This bike is totally capable. I did 1,300 miles in like 3 days, you know? And that was like with a day off in between and like hanging out with family. So, you know, the haters need to shut up. They need to shut up. So there's a couple things about this bike that I learned about riding at 1,300 miles that would make it more convenient as a touring motorcycle. There was things that weren't like super hard to overcome, but they were kind of annoying to overcome, to be totally honest with you. And I'm here to talk to you about that. I think the very first issue that I had with this motorcycle, it wasn't the gas tank, it wasn't anything else, it wasn't being uncomfortable, it was the charging situation. You know, nowadays you go and you get a touring motorcycle, they have like, you know, basically like cigarette lighter plug-ins just like you would have in a car. All the electrical is already figured out for you and it's plug and play. This bike, not so much. What I learned about my initial setup on the electrical situation on this motorcycle is that what I have is just kind of like a bridge or like a band-aid. It's not really a solution to the problem. And that was, I have a, you know, most motorcycles now, they have a, basically like a quick connect for like a battery tender, and I had a battery tender USB adapter that I was using for 100% of my charging stuff. So like I had my phone and then I had like a wire all the way down to my USB charger, and that's just not conducive to being comfortable on the road when you're using like your phone for 100% charging. So you need to have a hardwired setup, and it's not debatable. Like if you're using electronic if you're using a means of electronic navigation, you need to have it hardwired. So my next trip, maybe not my very next trip, but my next really long epic road trip is gonna have my phone up here, or maybe like a standalone unit, like a Garmin or something like that. I'm gonna put the Garmin up here and I'm gonna have it hardwired. And I'm gonna have an outlet on my handlebars for it. I don't care if I have to have it professionally installed because I'm kind of an idiot when it comes down to mechanical stuff. You know, if I have to have it like professionally installed, it costs me a couple $100. Personally, I think it's gonna be a couple $100 well spent. Although I am gonna try to figure it out on my own. That was the first thing that really kind of annoying. I had this wire going down, and at one point the wire was so long it got stuck in my back axle and it ripped apart, and like I was just like riding and like I couldn't turn the bars all the way, and I was like, this is bad, what's going on? And luckily enough, like, I can keep my head about me when something like that is happening, like when you're just riding like this and you can't turn. And I was able to slow down, figure it out, and that there was a wire hanging down, and it got caught up, and it was limiting my entire turning radius. It was no bueno. It was really no bueno. I literally had just bought that cable like an hour or two before, you know, because I brought the wrong charging, so I had to stop at a Walmart on the way when my phone was dying. So, you know, it literally lasted a couple hours with me, and I'd like lost a $20 charging cable. It was kind of annoying, to be totally honest with you. So hardwired is 100% the way to go. If you guys are in the Raleigh area, you want to know where this twisty road is, this is Beaver Dam Road. It's just south of Creedmoor, North Carolina, off of Highway 50. And that's just a little token of my appreciation for the subscribers in the area. If you haven't found this road, please come check it out, man. You might even see me up here. Next thing that I figured out that just needs a little bit of tweaking before a road trip, and this is not going to come to any surprise to any of you guys, is you need to bring a fuel can. This is a 3.3 gallon tank, which is not impressive by any means. You know, maybe if you have a dirt bike, that would be impressive. But for this bike, it's not impressive at all. I'd get generally about 100 miles before my fuel light would come on. That was about the time where I wanted to take a break, step off the bike, grab a drink, you know, maybe a snack or something like that. Anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I kind of made lemonade out of lemons with that one, you know, but really bringing a fuel can is going to be 100% necessary next time I do a trip. Which my next epic trip, I want to go all the way across the United States, which is going to include some desert miles. It would be highly suspicious that there would be parts during a desert trip that are going to be longer than 100 miles without a fuel stop. So I'm going to have to bring a couple fuel canisters with me. And that's just going to be something that needs to be done. You know, you can get that cool setup where you have it like right on front on the forks. I think that's really cool looking, but you know, that needs to happen before my next trip. There was a couple times where I was kind of biting my nails, had to get some crappy gas too. Like that's another thing about bringing your own gas. Sometimes gas stations in the middle of nowhere, like I found out in Appalachia and stuff, they don't have 93, they don't have 91, they have 87, and that's it. You know, 87 in diesel, and that's it. So bringing your own gas, your bike will probably thank you as well. As I'm thinking about it right now, one thing that I really wish I would have had was a better front headlight. You know, everybody knows that the Sportster and Harley Davidson in general, that's one of the things they cut corners on when you first buy your motorcycle, is the front headlight. It's really dim, it's kind of crappy. When you're navigating roads that you don't know and you're doing it in the dark with a dim headlight, it's not fun. The bright is actually not bad, but like the regular headlight is really nothing to write home about. That also would be something that I would replace before a long, epic, like 2-week long road trip. So the next thing that I would change before doing another road trip, or the next thing that I learned, is that having a sissy bar bag is a really good idea. Like, you can put a ton of crap in it. I didn't have any problems with my sissy bar bag. I really liked it, but there was no quick access spots. That's something that I learned from my last ride, is that you need quick access to certain things, like drinks and like, you know, electronic charging stuff. Like, you don't want to be like on the side of the road digging through all your crap, or like it just starts pissing rain on you and you gotta dig all the way to the bottom of your sissy bar bag to get your rain gear out underneath the bridge on the highway. That's no fun. That really isn't any fun, and that's something that needs to be sorted out. You know, I want to get some saddlebags on this, like maybe some like cool looking retro ones that I just leave on forever and the sissy bar will go on at the end, you know. But honestly, I think saddlebag is a good thing for all of your stuff that you need at like the end of the day. And then get some good side pannier bags for something that like you need quick access to, you know, something to keep you going, stuff to refuel you and your electronic devices. That stuff all needs to be quick access, guys. One thing I learned, and I paid for dearly, was not having good rain gear, which I thought my rain gear game was okay. Like, I had like a good rain jacket, it was bright orange, you know, it kept my top half relatively dry for about an hour or two. I was in a torrential downpour for my last 400 miles on my way back, and I was getting soaked, absolutely soaked, and it didn't matter that I had rain gear on. It was just the fact that like literally I was you know, just wet for so long that the little seams and holes that it would have like up here or like down below where water would come up, the water would just slowly seep and I would slowly get wetter and wetter until I was just soaked. I was really lucky that it wasn't too terribly cold for most of my ride. Like, it was in the 50s and 60s, which is like on the highway for a long time can be kind of cold, but when you're wet, it's absolutely freezing. to be 60 degrees, soaking wet, 400-mile trip. It was not pleasant. So I learned, one, your rain gear game has got to be on point. Get some good rain gear. I'm gonna get some really good rain gear. I don't care how nerdy it looks for my next ride. I don't care if you like zip it together at the waist. I don't care. I need to be dry for my next road trip. Seriously, it's not fun being wet for like 8 hours straight. And going along with the rain gear, you also need to bring a dry pair of clothes with you. Always have a pair of clothes that you could quickly change into. You know, throw a hoodie, maybe some sweatpants in there. I would have literally, like, if I could have stopped on the way and I wasn't just trudging miles, I would have killed for a solid pair of sweatpants, like a hoodie and some just like, you know, not flattering, you know, hanging around the house sweatpants. I would have loved that. But I just wasn't thinking of it, and I learned my lesson on that, guys. I really did. That's generally everything I would change about the motorcycle and riding in general for like normal people. The rest of it is going to be me talking about the YouTube side of things. I definitely learned that my camera options are like just not good enough. There was a lot of times where I was trudging miles and I wanted to stop and see stuff, but I just didn't do it because my camera setup was very inconvenient. I had a camera up front, a camera down here, and it wasn't convenient to like pop a camera off and like start filming stuff. You know, this camera right here is not where I run a mic off of, so like being able to talk to a camera is hard. So I learned on my next camera setup, I'm gonna have to get something standalone that I can just like pull out already on like a tripod, gimbal, selfie stick, something along that lines, with a good external microphone that I can just pull out and be like, hey, what's up? Like the new GoPro Hero 9, it's got a front-facing camera, and with like the media mod setup like I have on my GoPro Hero 8, it would probably make a really good selfie slash like vlogging camera that I'll probably use for the next time. I'll probably buy a GoPro Hero 9 before my epic road trip, just so I can have something like if something cool is happening, I don't have to like dismount, take off anything. I can literally just like have it like on the side in like a holster, like, you know, Terminator had his like shotgun in Terminator 2, and just like grab it out and be like ready to go, run and gun filming. Like there was a time underneath a bridge in Ohio where like it just started pouring rain, and then it just started going sideways. It was raining so heavy, and I didn't film it because I had to like lock my bags all the way because they weren't waterproof, and like it just wasn't conducive to filming. And I could probably make a GoPro Hero 9 waterproof enough where I could have pulled it out and you guys could have seen the struggle, because oh man, I'll tell you what, it was a struggle trying to get rain gear on, going through your system wear bag while like literally the rain is going sideways. I lost my license plate. My license plate was ripped off. I mean, it was a paper tag at the point, so it's not super impressive, but my license plate was literally ripped off. The rain was going so fast. Rain and wind was so hard, you know. But run and gun filming, this setup is not great for. It's great for stationary filming, not for being able to like pull it out and everything. The last thing that I want to talk about my cross-country road trip is that you need to take your time. You really need to take your time on these if you want to enjoy yourself. You know, I was doing like 600 miles in a day, which is not what that's not what I'm planning to do on my next road trip. I'm planning like 300 to 400 miles total in a day. My next road trip, I want to go up in New England and do like a loop of New England and all the cities and states that I haven't been to up there yet. And then my epic one is the cross country, but you know, I want to do 300 or 400 miles a day. 200 miles in the morning and 200 miles in the afternoon, and if I feel like riding more, I can. If not, it's break time at that point. Take your time, enjoy yourself. If you're just trudging miles, you're not really seeing the country, you're just seeing the highway. You know, on my way up, I did myself a huge favor and I swiped over and I hit avoid highways, avoid tolls on my GPS settings, and man, did I explore and enjoy Appalachia. There was like this road, I think it's called like Big River Run in Virginia, and it was on like the West Virginia border, way up in Appalachia, and the views were amazing, just in the foothills of the mountain. It was an amazing ride. That entire ride was worth it just to ride that one road. It was so beautiful and just so picturesque. And that's just like life advice. Take your time, enjoy your life. I mean, that's just good life advice, to be honest with you. So anyway, guys, that's a handful of things I learned on my 1,300 mile motorcycle journey on my 2020 Harley Davidson Roadster. There's gonna be more videos, more road trips. I plan on doing a road trip this year coming up, and it's gonna be New England. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna like stop at every major city on the way up in New England. From, you know, coming up from Raleigh, it's going to be DC, Philly, it's going to be New York City, Boston, Salem. I want to go up in Maine, come around some of the other major New England states like New Hampshire and everything. I've never been over that way. And I'll probably end up doing some moto camping as well. If you guys stick around, you'll be able to enjoy those videos coming up later on this year. I also plan on modding this motorcycle. Once tax season's over, I plan on saving up, doing a full stage 1 kit in my garage. Stay tuned for that. There's not a whole lot of Roadster owners doing that kind of stuff on YouTube, so I'll be able to walk you guys through the entire process, hopefully with a little bit of jokes, personality, hopefully with not too much struggles. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, throw me a comment. I love talking to you guys. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.